Now, usually when this is done with the right intent, the stock price should rise, right? So this is the central point that you must understand. Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. So roughly 3 months back, I had made this particular video, and on this I had spoken about the fact that businesses around AMC and AMC based businesses are likely to give a very strong run up, and I'm putting in a lot of money in it. And over the last 3.5 months, something like HDFC AMC has moved by 40 odd %. Similarly, CDSL, CAMS, in sare stocks ke bare mein I had spoken about on that video. I'm linking it. Please go and check. They have all given very good run up. On top of that, some other stocks that I've touched upon, Paytm, Zomato, they have all been doing fairly well. Now, this is not a chest thumping video ki yaar dekho, I was right. No, I'm an investor. I can very well be wrong. I'm the first one to accept my mistakes whenever I am wrong, right? So this is part one, that these type of videos are not a stock recommendation advice, but the nature of these videos is such that I help you understand the business fundamentals, help you understand techniques and finer details about these type of companies or any company that I'm speaking about, so that if there is volatility in the market, you can take actions. That is the key point. Aap meri bhi suno, take advice from people from other side of the spectrum who are speaking negative about these stocks. That way, form your opinion and please be responsible for your own money. Now on this video too, I am going to speak about 5-6 simple bets that I am taking. I am putting my money behind it. Now it is your call whether you want to do it, not do it. This is not a stock recommendation. On that note, couple of points. One is that faltu ki news chal rahi hai, right? That you know what, SEBI has banned influencers from making stock videos, this, that. No, it's completely false news. People do like half-baked research and they don't even apply any brain just for sensationalism ki like comments mil jayenge, right? And they just wrap everyone up. That is not the correct news there. And the correct news is, and this is a old SEBI rule, it simply says that in order to become an investment advisor, you need an RIA license. Now, what is the meaning of investment advisor? It means that if I'm taking your money, कि आप मेरे पास आते हो portfolio दिखाने, and I'm taking money from you and then giving you advice. Now that is investment advisory. I anyways don't do it. Therefore, I don't need a SEBI license. In order to make free public videos, I don't need a SEBI license. Ab SEBI ka rule aayega, I will follow it. But for now, do I need to follow it? The answer is no. So therefore, I am eligible to make these videos. Related point there is कि भाई आपकी qualification क्या है? Okay, so I'll talk about 2-3 quick points. One is, please check in the description and comment box. I have given my last 3-year P&L, profit and loss statement from the stock market. आपको RIA मिल जाए, आपको मीडिया वाले लोग मिल जाए, influencers who are willing to show transparently their P&L. Go and follow them, right? I mean, you show me like 5 people who are extremely transparent about markets, right? And who are willing to disclose their portfolio, whatever they are doing. I sit in public and take heat. And it's okay. I compete on merit. I'm completely okay doing it, right? So this is point one. Point two is that even from a qualification point of view, I've worked with top tier management consulting firms. इसमें मैंने finance काम किया था. On top of that, MBA from a top 5 business school, not in India but across the world. अब इससे ज़्यादा मैं क्या qualification दिखा दूँ? Now, natural question will be, अच्छा फिर then why don't you take like SEBI license? Now, in order to take SEBI license, taking SEBI license is not that complicated. But the compliances that come with it, unless I'm doing that work, which is RIA, if I don't want to do that work, what is the point of getting into all that compliance, right? So that's a simple point. Abhi tak bhi nahi kar raha tha investment advisory. Now at some point, if I have to do investment advisory, I will definitely take my license, right? So that's a simple point. I do a bunch of other things. Yeah, just startup registration hota hai. So I do it. If there is like Airbnb licensing I have to do, I do it. So I comply by all the laws that are there. So I hope this is out of the way. And acha, final point around this. Someone commented that, you know what, Akshat, you keep on talking about like similar type of stocks. Bhai, my goal is to make money and help you grow your money. My goal is not to entertain you कि भाई आज you know these 5 stocks are new here, invest. Now these 5 stocks are new here, invest. No. So I'm going to repeat some of the stocks that I keep on speaking about. I will do this analysis from a certain lens. Please understand it. This is probably the last opportunity, I would say, where a big up move can happen. And if you watch this video fully, you will understand the viewpoint also. So the first key stock, according to me, which is very good for conservative investors at this stage, would be something like TCS. Now, what is the meaning of conservative investor? It means people who do not want to take crazy amount of risk. So from that perspective, TCS becomes a very good stock. Recently, there have been points around the buyback of shares by TCS. So let me quickly explain that piece of news. Then I will help you understand the fundamentals, technicals of TCS also. And then finally, you can take your own call. So this is the piece of news that is doing the round, and you can see that the IT major approved 17,000 crore of share buyback at 4150 per share price. Now, what is the meaning of this and why share buyback is done? Is that a good thing, a bad thing? How should you react as a stockholder? Let me quickly explain that entire concept in 1 to 2 minutes. Now, share buyback in very simple term means that the firm, for example, in this case TCS, it will use the money it has to go and buy back its own equity. So for example, मान लो कि share buyback से पहले there were 100 stocks that were free float in the market. Then out of these 100 stocks, the TCS will use some of its own cash flow as of now and will buy 10. So the total outstanding stocks in the market will become 90, right? So this is the meaning of share buyback, that the company is buying its own stocks. Now, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Now, that is a very natural response and natural question to ask. Now, it's not very easy answer whether it is a good thing or a bad thing. So let me help you understand the basics around it. Now, share buybacks are usually good under two circumstances. One is that the companies do not have a lot of reinvestment opportunities. Reinvestment opportunities means that TCS is sitting, let's say, on 1,000 crore of cash. Now, it is sitting in like 2023 and wondering, you know what, क्या project करना चाहिए, क्या नहीं करना चाहिए. So we don't know. Reinvestment risk is there because projects नहीं आ रहे हैं. Yeah, we don't know like whether we should go and hire more people, this, that stuff. So all that uncertainty is there. So they are literally not able to figure out what the reinvestment opportunity is. So ऐसे केस में what happens is that the TCS will either give the shareholders dividend, कि आप ये रहा पैसा, right? We are declaring more dividend. You go and do whatever you feel like. But अब India में what happens is that there is a lot of tax on dividend distribution. Even you as a shareholder will have to pay a lot of tax in the form of dividend that you are receiving. So वो गड़बड़ बात हो जाती है, right? So from that perspective, sometimes what the company does is that if it does not have reinvestment opportunity, it goes and buy its own stocks. Now, usually when this is done with the right intent, the stock price should rise, right? So this is the central point that you must understand. Now, the second good reason of share buyback is that the company wants to generate trust within its own brand, within its own stock. It comes out and says that, see, dekh lo bhai, we are buying it at like whatever 4,100 rupees, right? This is what we feel is the correct price of the stock. We ourselves are willing to put our own money into it, and therefore this is the trust that we are trying to generate in the market regarding our stock price. So these are good reasons for stock buyback, that you're looking to generate trust, or if there are not legitimate reinvestment opportunities in the market, then the company buys its own stocks. फिर bad reasons क्या होते हैं? Okay, so a classic case study here would be something like Vedanta, right? Now, I had made a separate video. You guys can go and watch it. Now, what happens is that sometimes the market is such कि यार एकदम पिटा हुआ market है, right? That for example 2020, the stock price fell like crazy, right? And in that respect, what ended up happening was that the entire market was at a discount. The company itself was at a discount. Now, उस समय पे मौका मिल गया for promoters कि सस्ता माल मिल रहा है, I'm going to buy it, right? So you're buying it at a discount, knowing that you're getting it at a legitimately cheap rate. Then your intent is to drive that stock price from low to high, then pledge it so that you can borrow more money from the market and then keep playing that loop, right? So this is reflected in Vedanta's book also. Please go and watch it and discuss that entire video. Now, in TCS case, is that like a good thing that they are doing share buyback, bad thing? So according to me, it's a good step that they are doing share buyback, because genuinely right now in the market is the export market in India, or just generally across the world, that is slowing down. IT has slowed down a little bit. Tech has slowed down a little bit. Why? Because the 2020 to 2021 period, roughly 2022 mid, the market grew really fast. All the tech companies' stock prices also grew really fast. So अब थोड़ा सा correction है. There is a sideways movement. Genuine lack of reinvestment opportunities. Many IT firms have stopped recruiting altogether. This is not negative, right? Please don't consider it as negative commentary, because business cycles आती ही हैं in every single business. So it's not as if that IT companies बर्बाद हो गई हैं, nothing will be left and all bad things will happen. No, it's a simple cycle that will happen. It happens in real estate, it happens in FMCG, it happens in IT. So now is a good consolidation time in the industry. Nothing off. If you are a conservative investor, I think that the stock has bottomed out. So what is the meaning of bottomed out? Let me quickly explain that, and then I will speak about some targets. So this is the entire chart for TCS, and you can clearly see that pre-COVID levels se aap utha lo. So the total run-up in the stock was roughly 80-81%. This is a fairly high run-up for a company with the market cap which TCS has, right? Now, on that note, then what ended up happening was that the TCS fell and it bottomed out after falling right roughly 40% around. And tab se stock generally has been going up I personally have been aggregating Nifty IT, not TCS individually. I had explained it and I will explain it in a minute or two why I have picked Nifty IT over TCS. But आप देख सकते हो कि since then the stock has run up. Now what is the meaning of bottoming out is very simple. Let's see. This is the support level that was built for TCS. Now TCS is a big company. When it comes to such big market cap companies, it's not as if that it will fall or continue to fall like this unless there is some corporate scam, major corporate scam that has happened. It's unlikely that the companies of Apple size, TCS size, Google, Facebook, Reliance, all these are going to tank like this. कि सीधे like 50% correct हो गया, right? So that is unlikely to happen. It just moves in a range. There is sideways consolidation. It has been happening. You can clearly see that this stock price existed roughly 2.5 years back. Whatever you are getting, the stock price for TCS as of now. Is the stock overvalued? The short answer is no. Is the market overvalued? The short answer is no. Is IT industry done and dusted? The short answer is no. So from that particular perspective, अगर आप SIP सोच रहे हो, or even if you are looking to put 1-2 bulk investments, then even now the market is okay for something like TCS because it hasn't given aggressive run up, something like HDFC AMC. So from that particular perspective, if you aggregate the entire information, that the entire negative news on like earnings guidance, firing of employees, high interest rate environment, सारी चीजें आप मिला लो, then also it's not as if कि अब कुछ खास फर्क पड़ना है. The worst support that I see for the company is around 3200 mark, and if you pick this, then how much is the total fall? Then it is unlikely that it is going to fall by more than like 7-8%. So from that perspective, according to me, it has bottomed out. It's a good stock. Now why am I saying it's a good stock? So आप revenues देख लो, right? So for example, revenues all time high, profits all time high. Yes, quarter wise profits have stagnated a little bit, but it's not like negative कि भाई उनके profits कम होने लग गए हैं या sales has declined suddenly, all that stuff. No, it's not happening. It's still a solid company. With inflation, at least it will grow. The advancement of tech is already happening. TCS already has plans. Slow growth होगी. Worst case scenario, you will make like Nifty odd type of returns. Good case or moderate case scenario is that you will make 15% CAGR on this stock. Technically, the stock is sound. There is no problem. So let me go back to the technicals. So this is a nice rounding pattern that is getting formed. It will form something like this or likely to form something like this and then this. And then the target will come around somewhere around 4500, which is where the stock could go in the midterm. So this is my overarching viewpoint on TCS. If you liked it, do consider pressing the like button, supporting these type of videos so that more investors become more fundamentally aware of the entire space that is there. So the midterm target for the stock comes out to be around 4500. Now, why am I investing more money on Nifty IT rather than TCS as of now? So for that, please consider joining my YouTube member community. It is for serious investors who are looking to invest, study the entire market sensibly. Do not get panicked when volatile things happen. That sensible way mein I am going to explain all the fundamentals. I keep on explaining quick market news, whatever market commentary you need to absorb versus ignore. Please consider trying it for a month. You yourself will see a sea difference. Here are some of the testimonials as to what people are saying. So with that said, let us move on to the second. Now the second bet that I have been saying for the last 4-5 months now is HDFC Bank, Kotak Bank, ICICI, Axis, major corporate banks. I have already built my positions in these banks. I'm not building more because वो overexposure हो जाएगा, so I don't want to go there. In fact, I'm already on handsome profits in almost all of these except for maybe HDFC, जिसमें I have little bit of gains but not massive gains. So I'm still waiting for a breakout there. Related point there is that I do feel that HDFC Bank is going to give an up move fairly sooner rather than we think. 90%, 95%, I'm quite certain that results will be good. It will be taken positively by the market. Now, what is the reason why I am supporting HDFC Bank as of now? Now, rather than talking about HDFC Bank, let me help you understand the concept of credit cycle and how it's going to bankrupt the smaller banks. Okay. And that is one of the reasons why I sold Ujjivan Small Finance. Again, I had made all the announcements in our member community. These type of quick updates can only be given in written text format. Okay, every day I cannot come up and make videos very quickly. So anyways, let me quickly help you understand it, that what is the difference between HDFC Bank and small finance banks. So see, if you study the loan book of HDFC Bank and compare it with small finance banks, you will see a major difference, and this is an important point that you need to understand. So first and foremost, let me show you the loan book of HDFC Bank, and what you would notice is that almost 46% of its business comes from retail banking. And retail banking क्या होता है? आप और मेरे जैसे customers, right? And what type of customers here? For example, these can be rural customers or these could be urban customers. There can be a huge difference in terms of the salary, money that they are making. So in HDFC's case, almost 90-95% of customer base would be urban urban. These would be doctors, engineers, lawyers. All these people might have an account with HDFC Bank, and that is retail banking. Loans kisko milte hain? For example, can anyone get a loan from HDFC Bank? The short answer is no. Many of the loans, or at least high ticket loans, are collateralized loans. So the point I'm trying to drive home is that their loan book of HDFC Bank is highly secure. What is the reason? One is the customer mix is solid, urban, middle class, upper middle class, A. Second, the type of loans that HDFC Bank gives, those are securitized loans. Corporate loans maybe, they do not have a single party exposure ki yaar falana dinka corporate, they are going to give like crores and crores of loans. Nahi, aisa nahi hai. It is very well mixed, right? Unlike public sector banks. Now, why is this important and how is this important? So very simple reason. Here is a debt chart of the US, and this is a very interesting chart, and let me help you understand it. That's see, trillions of US debt no longer rated AAA at Fitch. Now what is the meaning of AAA? AAA means a solid gold standard debt. Okay, debt means loans that are given out, and who gives these type of loans? Ultimately they are banks, or bank have a very large exposure to this. In simple words, what the chart says is, earlier the debt was like literally gold standard, very good debt was being given. Now most of the debt is like very flimsy, very shaky type of debt, very bad debt, right? So the junk debt in the US is at a precipice. It is going to crash at any point. Who are going to get hit the most? Well, companies that give unsecured loans or who have a bad customer base, bad in the sense that who will be unable to repay the debt, high risk customer profile, those are the type of banks that are going to go under first. Something similar is already happening in the US, where regional banks have gone under because of the exposure to these bad debt. This will come to the retail segment. So then comes the question, okay, when will this happen? Ki, this debt crushing is going to happen and bad debt problem is going to come in. Okay, so for that you need to understand the interest rate cycle. Now here what I've done is that I have drawn two charts. One, this is called as the interest rate, right? The interest rate economy mein badh jayega, right? So for example, right now, where are we sitting? We are sitting on very high interest rate. Now it has started to come down. We are somewhere here, right? That you yourself would have seen that HDFC Bank FD rates were around 7.5%, right? Abhi bhi around that level only. But previously it was like maybe like 6.5%, all that stuff. So slowly interest rate climbed. Now what is the meaning of interest rate? Interest rate has a lot of implications depending on whom you are studying the data for. But one key implications for retail users would be, and aap examples se samjho, that if you have taken a home loan EMI and if the interest rates are high, then you might be paying, let's say 10% here, right? This is the FD interest rate, 7.5. So home loan EMI might be 9 to 10%. When do you have to pay it? You have to pay it for the next 10 years. Agar logged in interest rate hai, so from that logic. Now what happens is that there is a debt repayment cycle and there is a lag between the interest rate or rise of interest rate and the debt repayment cycle. Now this can be depending on the type of debt. There could be a lag of very short-term interest rate that has to be repaid versus long-term. So this can range between 6 months all the way to 10 years. So average convenience ke liye, you can assume it to be between 6 to 12 months. Isme reflection hone lag jata hai. So net, the story I'm trying to project is very simple. Let's see that all the bank debt that has been taken here, it will be repaid after 2.5 years, right? And usme there is a lot of bankruptcy that happens. Companies go under, individuals go under. Why? Because debt तो आपने 7.5% पे उठाई है, या आपका EMI is coming out to be 10%, and if the economy goes under, recession आ गया वगैरह problems, then there are massive repayment issues. Therefore, I feel that small finance banks that are giving a lot of unsecured credit, they are going to falter from this point. A classic case study is that of Ujjivan Small Finance, where I have been a big proponent. I have in fact held the stock when it got crushed like anything. I bagged the stock. I made roughly 70-80% return on that stock. I recently sold it. Now, why did I sell it? Here's a very quick story. Now, what you would notice is that almost 60% of the loan book of Ujjivan Small Finance is made of micro banking loans. Now, what is the meaning of micro banking loans? Now, here is the snippet of Ujjivan Small Finance itself, and you can go and read this entire page, that what is the meaning of micro loans, this, that. Now, here you will notice something very interesting, and aap ekdam scroll last tak, right? So what you will see is this, that the rate of interest 24% per annum. Right? Who will pay like 24% per annum? People who are not getting loans from HDFC Bank, people who are high risk customers, they are going to Ujjivan Small Finance Bank to take loans. So that is the point. So you don't buy companies like Ujjivan Small Finance when they are rising. In fact, that is a right time to sell it. You buy companies like Ujjivan Small Finance when the default starts happening and their NPA problem rises, right? Abhi, the NPA problem at Ujjivan Small Finance is one of the lowest. Of course, I can go wrong here in terms of timing it, that maybe Ujjivan Small Finance can continue to give run up, that 1, 2 years, 3 years, I don't know, but the NPA problem is going to rise at some stage at Ujjivan Small Finance. I made my money. I bought it when the NPA problem was at the highest, made good amount of money, cut my stock, booked like 80-90% profit, moved on, rotated that capital to better stock. So that is a simple message and the difference between HDFC Bank right now and Ujjivan Small Finance. You have to study the credit cycle if you don't get it. Now, you might have a natural question that Equitas you're holding like AU Small Finance. Why are you doing it? So, okay, that's a very interesting question. I will write a community post tomorrow. Otherwise, this video will become very lengthy and long. Now, with that said, let me move to the third stock. So the third stock still remains for me something like HDFC AMC. I still feel that the stock is likely to do very well. Even CDSL CAMS is likely to do very well. What is the reason for that? So very short discussion here. So take a look at this particular newspaper clipping. This is a very, very interesting finding even for me. And what it says is that, see, the mutual fund investors are only 3.5 CR. Okay, in India, crore. What about OTT subscription, right? Ab OTT में भी तो खर्चा आपका 200-300 रुपए, 200-300 rupees a month. Now, please don't say I steal my like friend's password and all this stuff. Now, I can't debate on that. Very hard to do that. But food delivery, though, you cannot steal from your friend. Maybe you can, I don't know, right? But the point is that here people are spending money. 28 crore people are using like food delivery platforms. यहाँ पे OTT subscription is 500 rupees, but the mutual fund distribution or mutual fund investors are only 3.5 CR. Now, I used to think up until this point that India has a discretionary income problem, that our income levels are very low and therefore we are unable to invest. क्योंकि है ही नहीं अगर पैसा spare money to invest, then how will you invest? But if you take a look at the average order value at Zomato, Swiggy, yeah, कुछ नहीं तो 300-400 rupees it must be. So if people can invest like 500-600 rupees in terms of buying monthly food from Zomato app, then of course, if they make a call, they are going to invest in mutual funds also, because you can run a SIP of 1,000 rupees in mutual fund as well. That change is going to come in India. Why am I saying it? Because if you study the American market, almost 60-70% American citizens, despite whatever their income level is, they also have some exposure to the stock market. Similar trends are going to happen in India. Maybe it will not scale up to that height that 70% population is doing, but at least 30-40% population will be able to do it. So from that particular perspective and this macro point alone, I am willing to bet on companies like HDFC AMC, NAM India. I am going to hold it at least for a bit. It is unlikely that I am going to swing something like HDFC AMC. I have already built a big position. It has already given me a decent run up as of now. I am going to continue to hold it. These are not the type of stocks that I am going to cut as of now. I don't see any reason. Another related point is something like HDFC Life, right? Or good life insurance companies, if you could take some exposure in. Something similar trend is going to happen there. This is a massive macro trend. थोड़ी भी discretionary income बढ़ी. So these companies are going to generate a earning multiple. I'm not saying growth in earning by 10-20%. There will be a growth of 100%, 200%, 300%. Now something of that nature. People have asked me about क्या BSC Limited खरीद लें या HDFC, AMC, NAM India. Honestly, CAMS, CDSL, all these stocks are good. You can create a basket and invest, and it is likely to give you a very good run up. Now, the most important point here is the patience with AMC companies. What ends up happening is that if there is a stock market correction, if the stock market falls by 20-30%, AMC companies and NBFC companies are going to correct the most. So from that perspective, if you have no stomach to handle the volatility, yeah, you're not going to make any money on these type of businesses. आप वो port वोट खरीद लो, right? Infrastructure company खरीद लो, right? That is something that will be exciting for you also from that perspective. I'm saying it in the right spirit. Please don't take it otherwise. But in actual terms, if you want to invest your money and see it grow, then you have to know how to handle the volatility. One of the key things and core things that I'm trying to communicate to my entire community is how to handle volatility. Making money in the stock market is not tough. All you have to do is be sensible. अच्छे stock में growth आती है, people just cut it, move on too early. When good stock falls, people just get scared, sell it, or even on a loss. So please don't do this type of stuff. 90-95% people are unable to handle these 2 points that I just spoke about. If you are able to get a handle of it, then you will be able to make good money in the stock market. If you want to learn how to make money in the stock market, consider starting your journey here. I have revealed my entire P&L of the stock market for the last 3 years. It will give you a lot of confidence. Again, I have not made that video from a boosting point of view. I have also made a lot of mistakes that I keep on sharing along the way. But the idea is that if you truly become an investor, only then you will be able to make money. If you're not an investor, trader pravatti ke logo, then 90-95% traders will anyways not make money, and it is unlikely that most of us will be able to reach that top 5% category of traders. So with that spirit, I will close out this video because it will become longer. 2 stocks were left. I'll make part 2 of this video and I will discuss it in tomorrow's member community section also, and we'll take some questions there. But I hope you enjoyed this conversation and I'll see you soon.